Mystery of Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is one of the world's most impressive archaeological sites in the world. It rises 8,000 feet above the ground and is built on the Peruvian Andes. But believe it or not, the how did they lift stones 8,000 feet without cranes is the least of the mysteries here. Find out what the real secrets are in the latest episode of BigFactz, Mysteries of Machu Picchu. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications button below. So, Machu Picchu is not an unknown place that only a few people know about. It is one of the most important Inca monuments, and there are many explorers who traced every inch of this area. In fact, this was dubbed as the best tourist site for years. People love Machu Picchu, and it loves its secrets. There are many questions actually that will never be achieved, and mysteries that will never be answered. Why was it built in the first place? What was its purpose? Also, when was it built? Archaeologists can't even provide a range. Why was it abandoned? It's a beautiful precious piece of land. No one would have left it without force. So where did this force come from? As for the first question of why it was built, in a way, given its crazy high and very strategic location, it could have been a military fort. This might be a defense position to control potential rebellions or even full-out wars. Archaeologists also believe that it was the ideal resting place of the Inca, who saved the country from a huge invasion. There is a shrine dedicated to him. In fact, it's the biggest in the world of its kind. Additionally, it's possible could have been a graveyard of women who were all renounced from activities and could only serve deities and Incas. For a long time, Machu Picchu was thought to be the lost city of Inca and part of the Vilcabamba. Not true at all. In fact, Machu Picchu wasn't lost. 3 farmers were still living there. The reason this misunderstanding occurred was because Vitkis and Picchu sound the same. It's like saying strawberries and raspberries are one because they sound alike. Not true. Some historians believe that Machu Picchu might just have been the legendary birthplace of the Inca elite. Moreover, there are way too many graves of females for it to be normal. So it could have been used as a graveyard for women who used to hide from the world to perpetuate the old rituals. One thing all historians agree on: Machu Picchu was used to hide Inca aristocracy after the Spanish conquest, which was brutal. Since there is plenty of land, delicious vegetables can be grown. Royals had no problem living there. But if royals couldn't climb it, how could the conquerors not? One reason Machu Picchu would have been abandoned was because all the rebellions would have ended. However, as expected, historians are not sure at all. So its purpose and its abandonment freaks us out just a little bit. This is literally nothing compared to the mystery of its incredible and head-scratching architecture. One thing has been agreed upon: Machu Picchu is undoubtedly one of the archaeological wonders of the world, up there with Stonehenge and the pyramids of Giza. As mentioned before, it is incredible how it's built 8,000 feet up, but also it is one of the urban projects that seems to blend in and become one with the natural landscape. You have to do a double take just to figure out where the city and the nature separate. Machu Picchu is labeled as ruins, which is a pity, as it takes away its glory. But there is no doubt that these ruins are more precious than every single Walmart we have. Take this for an example. This site is built on literally 2 fault lines, and we all know what that means. The grounds shake like it's dancing. The stones of Machu Picchu are so closely fixed together that not a piece of paper can fit in between them. This makes a great aesthetic, but beyond that, it had engineering advantages as well. When an earthquake occurs, the stones in an Inca building are said to dance. That means that they bounce around during the very serious tremors, and they simply fall back into the right places. This is literally the only reason the best buildings at Machu Picchu have survived. Or else we wouldn't have another spectacular structure to gawk at on holiday. It'd be a real shame. The Inca are best remembered and will always be remembered for their incredible walls and their stones. But the thing is, their civil engineering skills are a bigger wonder. These projects were as advanced as the stone walls projects, especially for a culture that not only didn't have iron tools and wheels, but also no pulling animals. It was all human labor. So PETA, get off the Inca trail now. The site that we see today and gawk at had to carve out an area between 2 small peaks by repeatedly moving stone and earth to create a relatively flat space. This was all underground, in fact. An engineer has predicted that most of the work at Machu Picchu, as much as 60% of it, was done underground. Much of that work was building deep foundations and using crushed rock used as drainage. As anyone who has ever visited Peru will tell you, it rains so much in Machu Picchu. And while it looks wonderful, floods would have been a very common occurrence had the Inca not been genius at draining water efficiently. Do you also want to visit Machu Picchu to see the incredible rain for yourself? Better walk there. To be honest, a trip to Machu Picchu is many, many things. It's wonderful, incredible, very fun. But the one thing it is not is cheap. Train tickets run for more than $100 from the main city. And the entry fees? Don't even talk about them. Just $47 to $62 to step a foot inside. We bet the Inca didn't have to pay anything at all. In between, a round-trip bus up and down the 2,000-foot-high reachable slope will cost way more. If you're part of the Marvel clan, you can just walk up, but your legs might be stubs and your body out of water when you finally reach. And it really is incredible. But Machu Picchu is not worth dying for. So if you don't mind this grueling, awful workout, just walk up and down for free. This steep path follows closely to the original explorer's path. It also offers extraordinary views of the Machu Picchu Historical Sanctuary, which actually has looked the same for many years. The climb is undoubtedly strenuous and takes about 90 minutes. If you do make it up without dying, don't hold your breath on more explanation. Of course, some visitors are used to explanatory signs at national parks, but one of the strangest things about Machu Picchu is that the site virtually provides zero information about the ruins themselves. Well, this does have the advantage of the fact that the site remains uncluttered, and the original Inca didn't have instructions either, so don't complain. But no worries, if you stumbled upon that site and had no idea it was a wonder, there is an excellent secret museum up there called Museo de Cito Manuel Chavez Belon. The $7 entry makes up for the fact that we are too dumb to pronounce it. So these $7 fill in many of the blanks about what the area was and why Machu Picchu was built in the first place. But the Inca did choose an extraordinary and extraordinarily hard-to-navigate areas. So first, you'll have to find the museum. As we said, it's hidden. It is very inconveniently built at the end of a very long dirt road. It takes 30 minutes to walk there, and you already walked there, so guaranteed you will faint there. Again, if you do no research before going to Machu Picchu, you'll be more surprised by the tourist habits than normal. Now, one of these habits, long before dawn, visitors eagerly line up outside the bus depot in the city and hope to be one of the first people to enter. Why? Because only the first 400 out of all the daily visitors get to climb Huayna Picchu. This green peak is shaped like a rhino horn, and it appears in many Machu Picchu pictures, but it's often ignored. In fact, almost no one except those eager visitors bother to climb the pinnacle that sticks to the other side of the site, which is usually called Machu Picchu Mountain. At 1,600 feet, it is actually twice as tall, and the views it offers are spectacular, particularly of the area surrounding the ruins, like the white Urubamba River that looks exactly like a giant coiled snake. So, if you want to feel like a king, definitely climb an extra 400 feet. Should you be one of the lucky early birds to take up a spot to climb up there, don't just pout. Take 900 selfies and then leave. Take the time to visit the trail to the Temple of the Moon, located on the far side of Huayna Picchu. Here, a very weird sort of ceremonial shrine has been built into a cave that is decorated with stonework and niches that were once used to hold mummies. Probably. And if you get to do all these things, you would still not have discovered the true Inca mystery. Should you wander away from the central ruins at Machu Picchu, you'll notice that an occasional side path branches off into the thick forest. And by wind, we mean disappear. Where do they even go? No one knows. Because the cloud forest grows over quickly in the area surrounding Machu Picchu, there may be unknown trails and ruins that no one has discovered yet. Several newly restored steps were made available to the public recently, but those are only a portion of the real number of these. So it turns out that we have discovered about Machu Picchu has left scientists baffled and scratching their heads. But what we have discovered is a very small part of the mysteries hidden in this area. Would you like to visit Machu Picchu someday? Or did we put you off with our exaggerated description of the walk there? Comment below and we'll pin the best one. Like this video and share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. This was BigFactz, bringing you the best content on YouTube. See you next time.